in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can stop overspending. I know that so many of you have reached out to me and said, oh, how do I stop spending money on things that I don't want? So this video is for you. Welcome to the Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. I'm Charlotte Jessup, and today I'm going to be tackling your spending habits and how we can direct your spending towards the things that bring you joy and take it away from the things that don't bring you that lasting satisfaction. Now, overspending is a problem for a lot of people, and I think even I have been in a habit of doing this in the past, where I spend money on stuff that I think I want and it's not actually things I want at all. And actually, what you end up doing is you end up spending too much, and then you can find yourself turning to credit cards to keep up with this habit, and that's not a great place to be. So what is overspending? Overspending is when we are spending either more money than we have or more money than we'd like to spend on things that we don't really enjoy. So maybe you spend lots of money on clothes, but actually your real passion is travel. Or maybe you spend lots of money on short mini breaks, but you really like to pay off your mortgage or get debt free. So it's about spending too much money because we feel the need to, or there's some sort of trigger in our life that means that we turn to shopping and spending to fill a hole or just purely out of habit. So why should we stop overspending? Well, I've already kind of given you the answer. It's because it doesn't actually add anything to our lives. Normally, when we acknowledge the fact that we are overspending, it's because we know that we are wasting our money on things that we don't really want to be spending on. There are more important things in our lives. And actually, when this becomes a really serious problem, it can lead to debt, and that debt can then add an extra layer of stress, and it negatively impacts on our financial well-being. When we deal with our overspending, it can actually help us achieve bigger goals. So like I say, there might be something that you really want to do. Maybe you want to go traveling, maybe you want to own a home, maybe you want to take a big trip with your family, but actually the fact that you are spending money here and there on all sorts of things that you don't want and overspending in areas that don't matter means you are not actually getting any closer to achieving those goals. You might want to stop the overspending because you want to live more mindfully, in a more conscious state of spending. So rather than just spending because it's impulse or because you think you need things, you actually want to choose what you are spending your money on in a more conscious way and be more present about the decisions that you are making. Maybe you are drowning in all your previous purchases. Maybe your house is full of clutter and it's all just things that you've bought in the past. So maybe you're looking to reduce your overspending so actually you can improve your living space and reduce the amount of stuff that you have in your life. So how actually do we go about stopping the overspending? So I've got a few suggestions for you today that I hope could really help you turn this habit around and for you to become a more conscious spender in 2021. So my number one tip for you today is to get absolutely clear on what you do want. So get a goal and get super focused on this. Now, I've talked a lot in previous videos about goal-focused budgeting and how it really helps you manage your budget and achieve your goals faster. And I'm saying this for conscious spending as well. When you know exactly what you want to spend your money on, it makes making decisions around your money for other purchases really easy. So you might be sitting there thinking, right, I really want to go on this fabulous trip with my family. That's absolutely what I want to do. So do I really want these shoes? And when you compare it to that bigger goal that you are really focusing on, it makes the decision super, super easy. But you have to be really clear about it. You have to know the ins and outs of what that goal is, how much money you need, when you're hoping to achieve it by. So set some smart targets around that particular goal so you know exactly what it looks like, exactly what it's going to feel like, and how you're going to achieve it. And then any other spending moment is always compared to that goal. So you might want to set some reminders in your phone or, write it on a post-it note and put it around your house so that you know what you're actually striving towards. And then you can curb some of those habits that are not conducive to achieving that goal. And it all comes down to your priorities. You might have more than one goal that you want to achieve, or you might have areas of your life that you actually enjoy spending money on and you'd rather you didn't buy all that other stuff that you don't enjoy so that you can focus your money on those things. So this leads me nicely on to my next point, which is around having a budget. So budgeting is something that I'm always harping on about too. I really think it's important for people to have a budget so you know where your money is coming from and you know where you want it to go. And it's that second part that is really important around this issue. When we know where we want our money to go, it tends to go there more easily because we've told it where we want it to go. When we don't plan out our money, we don't really know what its purpose is for, and that's when it gets spent on things that it's not necessarily for. So when you get really clear on how you want to spend your money, it makes it really easy not to spend it on the things that you don't want to spend it on. But a big part of your budget is making sure that you leave some room in it for things that you do want. So we've got this example of, and we hear about this one all the time, around people that like to drink coffee, maybe you like to go to Starbucks or Costa or all these places and you like your fancy coffees. Now we see so much on blogs and, YouTube videos and things like this around you like, oh, you could save money if you don't buy the fancy coffees. But if that's the thing you really enjoy and there's a whole load of other stuff that you're not spending your money on, then why shouldn't you be able to spend your money on those things? You're going to really struggle to stay on budget if you really like those coffees and you have to walk past Starbucks like twice a day. So why not allow yourself to have some money in the budget to spend on those things? It will be far easier to stay on budget and to control your spending if you actually set it out as part of the plan. That's when we make the change from mindless spending and overspending into this conscious version of spending. If it's allowed, then you're less likely to go over that budget and spend too much. Whereas if you allow yourself some of these things, you will enjoy them more and you will still stay on budget. The next one is to do some sort of journaling or at least track your moods and your feelings. Normally, overspending and spending too much and going into debt is triggered by some sort of emotional response. So it could just be the day of the week. So I tend to find that on a Friday, I'm much more likely to order a takeaway than I am on a Monday. So watch out for these little triggers. It could be that when you're in a low mood, that's when you're more likely to go out and buy yourself a whole load of new clothes. You tried on one thing and that didn't feel right, it didn't fit perfectly, so you think, oh, I need a whole load of new clothes. So when you start tracking your moods and your feelings and journaling around these, you can look for these triggers and you can put things in place to deal with those before they happen. When you start to recognize these habits in yourself, you will start to become hyper aware of them. So when it happens, you will be like, oh, actually, I'm spending money because I'm actually trying not to deal with this other emotion. So instead, you can then redirect your attention away from the shopping and the spending and actually address the emotion and what is going on with that instead. It may feel like it's a big time suck to constantly be journaling and tracking these moods, but it could be something just as simple as, the notes page on your phone where you just write these things down. Or even now, because I've told you about it, you will probably just be more aware and be thinking about it, and that will help you to track these things and keep track of your spending. Now that leads me nicely into this next point, which is tracking your spending. So I'm a big fan of using an expenses tracker. So this is just a basic spreadsheet where you can record each expense that you make. So, if you buy that coffee, you can just put the day, the coffee and the amount. The great thing about this is that it gives you a chance to reflect on what you are spending. And there's an element of accountability too. Are you going to go out and buy that new coat or that coffee if you've got to write it on that spreadsheet and look back at it at the end of the month? So it means that you have somewhere where you're going to be able to record exactly what you're spending. So you might get to the end of the month, total it all up and realise that you spend £200 on clothes that you didn't budget for and you didn't even want. And that £200 could have been better spent working towards your goal. So tracking your spending has this kind of dual layer effect of showing you where your money is going and also stopping you from spending the money in the first place because you don't want to put it on the spreadsheet. Again, it doesn't have to be a spreadsheet. It could just be like a record on your phone, or you could even write it out by hand. The reason I suggest a spreadsheet is because it makes it super easy to add things up when you get to the end. You could even add a category section around like food, clothes, transport, holidays, things like that, so that you can then add a little box in at the end that shows you the totals for that month. The last one is more about goals, and this is to create something in your mind or in real life that keeps you really, really focused. So think about the things that actually do bring you joy. We talked about goal setting and staying focused around that, but try and create an image of your life, how you want to live it, and put that in a vision board or do some visualization. So sitting down and imagining what your life would be like if you stop the spending and actually move that money into things that you really wanted in your life. Creating these images in your mind and these images in real life can really help you get that focus and the clarity around how it would feel to live a more conscious life and to stop that spending. So there we go. I hope I've given you lots of practical and helpful tips today to help that overspending habit and to actually keep more money for the things that you want to achieve in your life. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. You can also send a copy of this video to your friends so they can watch it too. And leave me some comments. Are you an overspender? What do you like to spend your money on? And what are you actually spending your money on? I'm also available on social media, so please go check out my other channels because I'm posting content on most of those daily. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.